Welcome to the MTB Tribe Podcast, your trail map for the world of mountain biking. And now, introducing your host, Gareth Beckett.
Howdy mountain bikers, thanks for being here and welcome to episode 196 of the MTB Tribe Podcast. I'm here as always to help you find out more about mountain biking, how to get out on the trails, keep you stoked, and hopefully learn a little more about mountain biking and the people involved. So thanks so much for being here and for tuning in to the podcast. Now, it's an absolute pleasure to have Ryan Oldfield on the podcast this week. Now, if you don't know who Ryan is, he's the founder of TotalMTB. And TotalMTB started as a social platform. It has grown to over 50,000 followers, but effectively it helps people improve their mental and physical well-being through mountain biking. Ryan, as a young kid and as he grew up into his teenage years, etc., realised he suffered from anxiety. And anxiety takes lots of different forms. But he found out that through mountain biking, getting out in nature, getting out in fresh air, all those kind of elements really helped him. So Ryan, just being the nice guy he is, he wanted to help other people. And TotalMTB was born. Now, it's been going for around 4 years and it's been gathering strength all the time. And Ryan's doing an amazing job with it. He's got a crew of guys there that help him out. But you know, it's an amazing platform to get involved, to get people out mountain biking, to help people with their mental health problems and their physical needs and everything else. And it has grown from that into so much more. If you want to know a little bit more, go to the show notes. You'll find them at mtb-tribe.com. But it was an absolute pleasure to get Ryan on the show. And, you know, this wasn't easy for Ryan. This gives Ryan anxiety doing these kind of things. So I'm just stoked that this is the second podcast he's been on. And you'll get a lot from this, folks. It just will show you how mountain biking can change people's lives for the better. So it was great to get Ryan on the podcast and chat to him about it. We chat about a lot of stuff. We chat about how you can get 40% off your top brands by going via Ryan's website, etc. But all that, I'll leave all that into the podcast and let Ryan tell you about that. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome Ryan to the MTB Tribe Podcast. Hi Ryan, welcome to the MTB Tribe Podcast. It's a pleasure to get you on the show. Bud, how's things with you this morning?
Good, thanks, yeah. You?
Yeah, good mate, can't complain. Listen, sun's out. I'm in shorts, believe it or not. I never wear shorts. I'm in shorts. It's lovely.
So it's all the same with people in England, isn't it? When the sun's out, that's it.
Yeah.
Shorts and t-shirts and the lot.
That's it. You know, it's amazing because I lived in Malta for a couple of years and the climate over there is really warm in the summer. And since I have come back, I haven't felt the cold as much here, which is weird. I think it's supposed to work the other way around, but I can wear shorts here now. I never wore shorts in Northern Ireland before.
There's a good thing for you, but maybe not such a good thing for other people around you, depending on how they look at it.
Yeah, get the white legs out, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, Bud, thanks so much for coming on the show. It'll be a pleasure to chat to you. And obviously, you're the founder of TotalMTB, which is a non-profit you're kind of a community of bike riders that encourages people to bike, to help with mental health and physical health, and help the environment. You're doing loads there, man. So it's pretty amazing, and we'll get into it. But I want to chat to you about why you wanted to start something like that, because you deal with anxiety and things like that yourself. Do you want to chat us through that a wee bit?
Yeah, that's not a problem. So I've had anxiety for, well, pretty much as long as I can remember at school and stuff like. Obviously, unfortunately, I didn't know what it was back then. So when I finally basically had enough of feeling this way, I thought I'd try and find out what it was. And the only way I actually found out how it was doing the Google search, which isn't actually the best way in some circumstances, because even if you've got a cold, Google generally tells you, you know, you've got months to live. So So it's not the best option, but I did it, and that is actually how I found out I had anxiety, because basically it came up and it was basically a checklist of symptoms that you've got and how people feel, and I was basically pretty much ticking 99%, if not all, of the symptoms that I had. So I went to the doctors, tried to get some help, and it worked, but I sort of tried to, right, let's go and try and get outside, and because I weren't getting out much because I'm self-employed, so everything was indoors really. So I tried to get outside, and then I found mountain biking again, because as a kid I had biked a lot with my family, but with self-employment and other busy lifestyle, it fades away. So I went back into mountain biking, and it did work. You go into the environment, into nature, and you just, even if you go to bike somewhere, and even if you stop for a bit and you're not necessarily biking, but you're back there and you're away from the town, the city, and you just relax, and it just takes you away from the stresses, and you just breathe for a bit, and it's just quite nice, even in England with the weather. So I wanted to then inspire more people to do it, but so I looked at different ways. So my normal job, well, my main job is design and marketing. Okay. So I'd already done sort of with businesses. I've already dipped my toe in the water with social media, so I knew a bit around it. I knew web design, I knew brand design, and all that kind of stuff, and put them all together to try and create something that I could then put onto social media and get others to get inspired to go out. So then I came across repost accounts. I didn't even know these were a thing. So I found repost accounts and mountain bike repost accounts, but they were all reposting, or majority of them were reposting known riders, which is great. But obviously, with all the glitz and the glamour of the known rider, sometimes it's not really, it's not sort of for the average Joe kind of person. I can do that. Or it's all Whistler and Bike Pot Wales, which I've got obviously nothing about, and I love those places. But for some people, a local trail is just as helpful. So I wanted to try and push that kind of stuff, and I found people that were doing it, and then I started the repost account, and then I was helping. I was inspiring others through that way, reposting their stuff. Then other people found it, they sort of liked it, and it just snowballed from there. And now, after 2 years, it then just grew and became more than just that kind of account. It became a community. And then we branched out. Yes, that's still a big fundamental thing for us, because it does such an amazing thing for people when they see other people out there. It doesn't matter who they are, or there's no criteria. Everyone's welcome. Everyone can get a share. It's just a way to inspire people. But that now we're more than that. So obviously there's different branches of what we do. It's just a different. We try and come up with different ways to inspire people because some people like it, maybe like to be inspired one way, and then others like to be inspired another way. So if we try and encapsulate all of them together, it's the best way to reach everyone. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing what you're doing there, and it's obviously an issue. And I had way back a couple of years ago, I had a local guy on, Andy Coburn, and he won't mind me telling his name, because it's why he came on the podcast, because he really suffered from depression, and mountain biking helped him in so many ways, and he was really, really keen to get that word out. And see, to be honest, that was one of my biggest downloaded episodes for a long, long time. People just seem to touch with it, and he's such a character, Andy, and he's really pulled himself back, and he's such a force in the community here now, which is amazing to see. But you were saying there that you deal with anxiety. Now, to a lot of people, anxiety may be something they feel when they're going for a job interview or something like that. But it goes a lot deeper than that. Can you describe some of the symptoms you would get from that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's going really back at school. I used to not like to leave. I didn't like my mum to leave me at school, so I used to get upset with that. At school, I never used to like to be people to be singled out. So when people were just simply reading in the classroom, and they used to, we used to have a book and they used to read a line, and you used to have to read a line each person in the class. And I used to count how many people it used to get to me, so I could read the sentence that I was going to read and read it and read it and read it, so I wouldn't mess up and I could feel myself getting red and sweaty and that kind of stuff. Because I overthink reading because of my anxiety. It was just I don't like to be in the limelight, and just going through different things. Then it became travel became an issue, and going places. I used to go to concerts, but music concerts, but we used to go all day, and I couldn't eat because I felt sick. And then as it was getting closer to the actual event, I was getting dizzy, I was sweating, and I didn't know what it was. And I was in the queue, sort of crouched down, trying to breathe and trying to get through it. And then as soon as the event kicked off, because my mind was on the event, I was completely fine.
Yeah.
And then after it, or the next day, I would get a fuzzy head. It's what I call a dodgy head. And that was obviously after I'd relaxed and all the anxiety, the tension had gone away. And now it's onto different things like, I'm sweating a lot now. My speech goes faster. So it's all different. There's so many different things. But once people tell you and you can actually see, you can then link it to different things. And I know a lot about anxiety and how to stop it, but putting it into practice is very difficult. For me, something called exposure therapy, where you put yourself in that situation, and then if you put yourself in that situation and again, eventually your anxiety will go down. And it did work for me. But we had my daughter, and obviously that everything's great. I love her to bits and all that kind of stuff. But I couldn't. Now that my wife is at working as a teaching assistant, I look after my daughter while she's at work. So doing the exposure therapy, if I was stressed and anxious there, there's a good possibility that the next day I would have a tension headache. And if I have a tension headache, it sort of pretty much wipes me out for that day. So
Wow.
I couldn't risk doing that when I had my daughter to look after. So then basically the exposure therapy, it kind of just slowly stopped, which is a shame. But obviously I don't want to I don't want my wife to be off because I'm ill, and I don't want to be in the situation where I'm ill and looking after my daughter. So I wanted to put that first over this. So it's just a difficult situation, I guess.
Yeah. Like, it's amazing because, anxiety, I think for the majority of people that don't know anybody that suffers from it or, has read up on it or it just seems like, you just get nervous or you get anxious about something. But like the way you're talking about it there's loads of different kind of symptoms to it. It's just not as simple as one thing. And I suppose it affects different people differently as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Richard, like I say, the other day on the podcast, and he until talking to me, he didn't realise that anxiety or my anxiety, he thought it was just sort of before the event and during the event. But obviously with the tension headache, I'm actually fearing after the event and the next day. So, for example, there's a mountain bike event. I don't know if you've heard of it, called MTB Meetup in Wales.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously, due to COVID, it hasn't been running, unfortunately. But I wanted to go there for the first time a few years ago. So, but because of my anxiety and because it was quite a distance for me to travel, not a major distance, but for me it was quite a distance. from South Yorkshire to there. So what I had to do, because I knew I was going to be stressed with the travelling, is I had to book a hotel that was fairly close to the MTB meetup. I had to book a hotel and then I had to book it for 2 nights it was. So the first day was travel, and then I knew I'd be stressed, so then sleep that off, have the event. I knew I'd be stressed after the event, and then sleep that off, and then travel back the next day. Whereas ideally, and to be cheaper and for save time, not everyone wants to spend 3 days doing that. So it'd be you go there, and exhibitions, you go there, do the event, and come home. That's obviously how people would intend to do things like at exhibitions, but I can't do that at the minute. It'd have to be sort of a 3-day event.
Yeah. So yeah, like it really does affect your life and everything you do, really. It's just not a one-off event that happens every now and then. This is something that you deal with 24/7, basically.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every day has got. There's a lot of days when the stress is at a minimal or the anxiety is at a minimal, but it's always around 1-2 kind of mark. But then on other days it really does creep up. But the frustrating thing for me is I used to go to watch football. I used to go to exhibitions down in London for the day with my friends, and I used to be fine. And that was a day event, so I know I can do it in the past. But now it's in my knowledge that how I can feel, I just can't see myself working through it, which is a shame. But I don't know where and how it's going to improve or all that kind of stuff. So I just want to then spread the awareness for other people, because I think obviously mental health is a more prominent thing now. But when I was younger, it wasn't. So obviously when people might be able to hide some anxieties and some depressions, but I could, for some reason, mine was basically out in the open. People could see I was crying and I was upset pretty much every day through my school until it was year 8 or 9. I was visibly upset, and people could see it. So I wish someone would have been able to say, there's something not quite right, let's investigate and figure it out. Because I think if someone had have helped me, then it could have been at that influential age, it could have possibly helped me now, rather than trying to figure it out now.
Yeah.
And what obviously age, you never know.
Sorry, Ryan, what age were you then when you realised you had
it? It was around 25.
Right. Okay.
So around 6 years ago.
Yeah. All right. Was there anything, you said that you were anxious when you were a kid and stuff like that. Was there anything back then you think triggered that? Does it work like that? Can it be triggered in somebody, or?
I don't think it can be triggered. I mean, different people have different opinions on it. Right. Personally, I think because my mum has it and her dad has it, so it was sort of in the family. Okay. But and then I think something just brought it out. I don't know what it was, because I had I did have a very good loving family, so that wasn't the issue, because it started so young. So I honestly don't know, but I do think it was sort of there from the get-go, really.
Yeah. So that brings us to mountain biking and how mountain biking has helped. Like for you personally, when you found that mountain biking and how it helped mentally and physically as well, obviously, like was that a light bulb moment for you? Was that something that really helped you like that, or was it a gradual thing?
It did help me. It wasn't a light bulb effect kind of thing, unfortunately, but it did gradually help me. It helped me just being able to relax and forget about work and stresses just out there, with the biking. And also when you're off the bike, just sat there looking at a river, or if you find a nice spot. So you got the river, the sounds, the smells, the sights, all that kind of stuff. But also my main passion is downhill biking. So when I do, there's not many places around South Yorkshire to do downhill biking, unfortunately. But where there is a few trails, and if you do go really fast, and your concentration has to be up, so my mind is completely away from the stresses and all that kind of stuff, and it is on the bike. Because if obviously you lose concentration for 1 minute and you hit a stone or you do something, you're off, aren't you? So my mind is solely on the bike if I'm doing downhill. So that's why I like downhill biking.
Yeah. No, certainly you have to be 100% concentrated. If you're thinking about anything else, you're in trouble.
So if I'm just biking normally, I'm not. You're just having a general ride. Then yes, it's nice, but I can still have time to think about feeling sick, about my anxiety, because obviously there's no danger to you, is there? Yeah. So that's obviously just how it works for me personally. So yeah,
it's amazing. And you know, I know of some places here in Ireland that, you know, are doing something similar for mental health matters and things like that they're getting proper kind of qualified mountain bikers to come out and guide these people and try and help getting them out in nature, getting them out in fresh air, getting them away from computer screens, from their phones, all this kind of stuff, you know. And I know that's kind of the idea, or one of the ideas behind TotalMTB that you founded. Now, that's been going since June 2017, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Right. It's a slow burner, or depending on how you look at it, but yeah, it's been started since that time.
Yeah, and it's been growing massively. Like, you have over 50,000 Insta followers and stuff like that. So, you know, the community is growing massively. Now, chat us through, Ryan, because you've got loads going on there, and I'll certainly direct people to your website and stuff. But chat us through your campaigns, because these are very interesting. Just chat us through a few of those and why you went that direction. You know, like the mental health matters, and you know, is that about endorphins and how good endorphins help mental health and give you positive vibes and things? Can you chat us through that a wee bit?
Yeah, that's fine. So obviously, to me, the most important thing is the mental health. So it's just basically bringing awareness to it and saying it's important to us, and basically we're a safe space for people to open up. They don't have to open up openly, as in on social media posting. They can do it to the family. They can open up to us, a private messenger. They can all that kind of stuff. Just, you know, don't suffer alone kind of thing. And it's not you're not just suffering alone. It's not just you suffering. It is a worldwide thing. It is. So you're not just alone. It's not just you who's suffering like that. So it's just basically bringing awareness to it. The other one is, we've got another one called Let's All Ride, which is basically, you know, getting people out, trying to encourage people out for mental and physical health. Obviously, both work pretty well together outside. Like you say, the good endorphins of exercise, and if you're outside, you've got hopefully the sun. Which is been hard to come by recently, but obviously
you have to pay for that.
Yeah, so obviously that does help, and obviously if you're on the bike, you've got both physical and mental health. So the Let's All Ride, it's, you know, hopefully trying to get people out, no matter where they are in the country, no matter what the job, the gender, all that kind of stuff.
And you organise like ride outs and that kind of thing, don't you? With that?
Yeah, I mean they've stopped recently because of the COVID. So we're hoping that the government and British Cycling can allow us to have 30 plus people, because obviously then we can, you know, there's no cap on the social ride, and then we can do those again. But they were quite popular, and it was just fantastic to see. We had some photographers at the rides, so we could document the ride. But also, you know, people could see and take the pictures home if they well, not home, but, you know, digitally, if they wanted to. But it was just so good to see the happy faces, people talking, either with friends or people that they've never met, just bringing people together, and even people going there and seeing people they've never met, that then can help their mental health. They can then make friends to go on rides together, in the future, not with TotalMTB as such, but just by themselves. So everything is got behind it a way of helping mental health, physical health, and just bringing people together.
Yeah.
So we've also got one called Protect Our Planet, which obviously the environment to mountain bikers is very important. Obviously, that's where we relax. That's where we go on the rides. So we're trying to obviously do a conscious effort ourselves. But again, just as we're doing with mental health, we're also trying to promote the awareness and trying to, basically just help the planet and that kind of stuff. And then the last one, which is the most recent one we've done, is You Are You and You Are Awesome, which is basically saying you don't have to change, you don't have to, there's no rules to how you look on a bike, either clothing, appearance, aesthetically, anything like that. You are awesome as you are. So I see a lot of negative comments through people on social media that have either come off social media because of the comments, or they've stopped biking because of the comments that they've received. Either they're not good enough on a bike, or a woman can't do that, or a child can't do that, or racist comments. It's so annoying. So that's why we've come up with a campaign of You Are You and You Are Awesome, because no matter who you are, you should be free and you should be confident to get out there and bike.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think, well, here in Ireland, where we have a big biking community here, the mountain bike scene, thanks to the council and stuff building trail centres, is growing, and it's growing very rapidly. And COVID has helped people get on bikes and everything else. But our community here is really friendly, and I very rarely hear bad comments or anything like that. And it's one thing I always, people are fed up with me saying it in the podcast, but just how good the mountain bike community is, and how friendly everybody is. But you're kind of hearing some pushback against that. That's interesting.
Unfortunately, I mean, 99% of the community is good, and encouraging and all that kind of stuff. But there is, unfortunately, you hear it. I mean, unfortunately, I've not had it myself, but I've heard, well, not seen it because I would have sort of tried to get, stop it. But I've heard people that it's affected them really bad, and they've come off social media, they've stopped biking and that kind of stuff because of it. And it's sad, it's frustrating. I don't understand why people would do it.
Yeah, it's crazy, and obviously it affects people in the wrong way. It's completely.
I mean, they could say it to show off to the mates or whatever it is, or they could say it for 5 minutes, but then that 5 minutes is then not the person for it could be a lifetime.
Yeah, it's not cool at all. And it's funny because I think why a lot of people are attracted to the biking thing is, one of the reasons anyway, is because it seems to be a really friendly community. And if we lose that, or if it becomes a problem in the MTB scene that it's not friendly and you have to be riding a certain bike or wearing a certain helmet or, be a certain shape or whatever, that's going to be an issue. And it's something I certainly don't want to see. I've seen it in other sports, and I certainly don't want to see it in mountain biking. And here, fair play to you for standing up and doing something about it. That's pretty awesome.
I mean, it is something we've set up, but obviously we're not the only ones to try and help or bring awareness to this. There's other people out there that are also doing it. I mean, for one example is Shimano with the brought out a video. I don't know if it's a campaign of theirs, but I think it was All Bodies on Bikes, which is a movement, and that's sort of the same thing. We've got the lady over in Scotland. Her Instagram is Mrs. Go. I think it's Go Where Scotland or something like that. She's campaigning for more diversity, So we're not the only one, but it's just a fight that we shouldn't have to really do, but obviously we're wanting to do.
Yeah, no, well, fair play, fair play. Now, talk to us about, you've also something going there called Total Buddies. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Total Buddies is a place, it's something that I've started. So people would volunteer if they've got sort of mental health experience or mental health, they've done mental health training in the past and they want to help others biking, and they have good knowledge of the MTB trail around them. They can join us to be an MTB buddy, total buddy. So then people can go on if they're low in confidence or if they suffer from anxiety or anything like that, and they're wanting to not go out on their own, but not go out in a big group. They're just wanting to go sort of one-on-one, learn the trail a bit more, get a bit more confidence out on the bike. Then they can look, and if we've hopefully got someone in their local area, they can contact the person and then go out, organise a ride and go out. And to be fair, it's the one of the things that it's only just recently started, but it's one of the things that I'm most happy or proud that I've started, because yes, the awareness is good that we're spreading for mental health, but with this, I can actually see the feedback from people that have done it, and it's actually working, and people are actually going on these rides. People are getting more confident, and it's something that I can actually see firsthand that it's happening. And with everything else, it's not really been like that. It's just, I'm hoping that it's working, and every now and again I get a good piece of feedback that your account's good, thank you, it's helped me. But this is people are going out of the way to look, to find someone in their area to go out with them, bike, and it's helping them, and that's pretty good feeling that people have done that.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Well, it validates what you're doing is working and it's helping people, and at the end of the day, that's why you started Total MTB, was to help people, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we probably do quite a lot of stuff now that's people could say we do, it's too much rather than, keeping it simple. But if each idea helps another person that wouldn't have, then surely that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. And you do loads of charity work, and you've got projects that you support and stuff. And, you've raised, like almost £9,000 since 2019 to fund these projects. And, it's things like the Dirt Fund project, which is cool. I had Daniel and the boys on the show. I think that was episode 178. And you help Forestry England and Dirt Sisters of Shred, all this kind of stuff. So, like, how do you help these charities, and how do you choose these charities?
Some of them I see on social media and I contact them. Some of the projects contact us, and we've got a team of people that help run TotalMTB. So someone might see something and think, "Oh, I think have a look," and I think that's a good thing to get involved with. So there's different ways we can see stuff. But I think if I do think most of the projects are good that we come across, and we try and help them in as much as we can. So the basic thing that we can do to help them is basically put them on the website and share them on our story on Instagram to try and get them some social exposure and exposure that they might not have got originally, and links to the website and all that kind of stuff. But if we can go a step further, then we try and help them with funding, so we can raise money through our community, like we've done for Mike Jones over in Wales with the free Bikes for Kids project. That's it's coming up to £3,000 now that we've raised for him. We've helped to get him a shed for his workshop and all that kind of stuff. And then we've got something going with Charity No Panic, which is the T-shirt, and we do a lot for them with different things. This year's jersey was dedicated to mental health. So £3 from each jersey sale went to that. We do a big raffle that went to that this year for the Christmas just gone. And then we've now started to do stuff with a company called Ecology, I think it's called. I think that's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically where you donate money and they use that money to plant trees in the UK and around the world and offset carbon. So it's your money that's gone to, and you can see that it's helped.
Yeah.
And it tells you how many trees you've planted and how much carbon you've offset. So our Protect Our Planet T-shirt, that's a charity T-shirt that's also made from recycled plastic. All the money from that goes to that charity. So each T-shirt, I think it's each T-shirt bought plants 50 trees.
Wow.
So and then ideally we're looking for the next charity Christmas raffle. That we're hoping that can also plant trees, and also the next jersey we're hoping to be dedicated to the planet. And again, part of the money raised will go to planting trees. But I think I worked out that if the same amount of money was raised for the next charity raffle that we did at Christmas, if it was raised this year, the amount of trees that it would have planted would be 27,000.
That's unbelievable. That's crazy. Yeah.
So
it's so important, like, and your merchandise obviously helps with all that stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some default stuff that's just, TotalMTB branded, but we do try and bring out more stuff that helps awareness of, the planet or the mental health, and all the profits go to those charities. So yeah, we do quite a lot, but there's so many projects out there that we just want to help push, and if it's by social media. So like you say, the Dirt Front project is quite a good one to get people out there and inspired, even if they're not sort of linked to a team necessarily. It doesn't have to stop you. And the Dirt Front sisters, they had a meetup just recently. I think it was at a bike park locally. Is it Fly Up 417 or something? So they had one, and it's just that a bunch of young ladies, girls, going out with their friends, biking, and just the photos. I'm going to try and share a post on them later this week when I can get access to some of them photos, because it just shows what mountain biking is. Young ladies, young girls out there biking, enjoying it with their friends. It's just, that's what it's about.
Yeah, totally. It's all about, the social aspect and friends. And it's funny because I remember I asked my subscribers one time why they mountain biked. What was their top, 3 reasons for mountain biking? And for me personally, it's that kind of adrenaline type thing, that kind of adrenaline rush. And I thought that would be the general, return I would get. But by far and over every other thing, it was to get out in nature. That was the number one response, which kind of surprised me a little. But on the other hand, it kind of didn't, because it's probably one of the reasons I do it as well, one of the big reasons. But it's interesting that people, just the way everything is with screens now, and I drove by the bus stop the other morning and all the kids were lined up ready for school, and every one of them had their head down on a phone.
Yeah.
And there's maybe 15 kids standing there. I didn't see one kid chatting to anybody else. Everybody was on their phones, and it was like at 20 to 9 in the morning or something. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So getting people out in nice rides like that, it has to be good for your mental health. It has to work wonders for you.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, you say that about the nature. I mean, if you were to take the nature away from people's rides, even if they didn't think it was important, I think they then think, actually, I miss it. It is important. I feel more stressed without it, that kind of stuff. So I think it is important, but I can't, with the social media, I mean, I try and stay away from it as much as possible, but with my businesses been heavily linked with social media, it's difficult to stay off the phone sometimes. But obviously I'm doing my best.
Yeah. And you're good at it. You're skilled at it. So, it's one of your powers. So it's all good. So the Total MTB crew, let's chat a little bit about that, Ryan, because obviously, you're doing a lot of stuff here. You can't do it yourself. So you've got guys and girls there that help you out. Do you want to shout out a few names or?
I hate this type of stuff in case I forget someone out. So, I mean, I actually do quite a lot myself, because I don't like other people to do something and not get paid. So I try and repay them in some way, one way or another. So we have a lot of ambassadors, but there's me as the founder, and I basically try and do as much as myself, but I run the ideas past. First, I run it past Andy and Lou, who have basically been there for pretty much the start, helping with ideas, what's good, what's not, how we can adapt something to work. Then I take it to the crew that's Sally, who runs MTB Talk, that's every Sunday, on Twitter, for getting into mountain bike talk. It's questions, it's a bit social without having to, if people can't meet up because everyone's dotted around the country, they can go on there and every Sunday chat. It's about questions, having fun, that kind of stuff. So then we've got Ian, who runs the account for Total Rider. So if we've got any people in Total MTB merch, the jersey, t-shirts, to tag the account, and then it gets shared exclusively on that specific account. I've got Andy Hampshire, who helps run the Total social rides, because he's a professional mountain bike guide and that kind of stuff. And then we've got Carl, who's fairly new. He helped with the Facebook group to keep monitoring that. So we've got quite a few people, and that's not including the ambassadors as well. But I do quite a lot of it myself, which is, I don't like other people say to do stuff for free, but it is quite labor intensive.
Yeah, totally.
I just wish, in future, I hope that it keeps growing so I can then pay people, so it becomes easier, and obviously TotalMTB develops. That's obviously the goal.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And how did the ambassadors and supporters and stuff help you out?
It's just spreading the message, really, and they also help with the ideas. So before it goes any further, it also goes to the ambassadors, see what their thoughts are, see if everyone's got an opinion, and I listen to everyone. So I hate, even in my main business, I hate the sort of the boss title. I don't like that. I want everyone to be involved. No idea is a stupid idea. So everyone gets involved, and everyone's quite, down to earth and like-minded about stuff. So obviously what we've got with the ambassadors is it's very diverse, which is fantastic, because that's what we want to promote. So everyone's coming from different backgrounds and got their own ideas, and then it basically comes up into an idea or develops the idea, and that's what we have. So they're absolutely fantastic, the ambassadors, because they basically promote exactly what we want. Get out there, no matter who you are, background, just get out there, have fun, ride, see friends, and that kind of stuff. So they're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, for sure. And you even have a young kid, a young 3 or 4 year old there who shreds as an ambassador.
Yeah, we've got quite a few. We've got quite a few kids. Stan, who's been racing recently, Daisy, who you're talking about there, it was fantastic. We've actually just recently started something with her called Adventures with Daisy, to try and inspire people around her age group, because we've seen that people see her and want to get involved in biking. So I thought if we actually dedicate something to her that people can concentrate on, I thought that might help further. So let's see how that goes. And then we've got Amelia as well, who's a bit older, but still not, still one of the younger ones.
Yeah, brilliant, man, brilliant, awesome. Now, for people listening to the podcast, this may, they may be really interested in this. And you work with partners, you work with brands as well, and you have discounts up to like 40% off. Lots of top brands, Broken Riders, PTs, Helmet Tour, all this kind of stuff. Like that's really cool. Like, how do the brands help you out? Is it through discounts and spreading the word and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, you may be surprised to hear, but the discount page is by far the most visited page on our website.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
I wonder why that is. But yeah, I mean, with the help with reviews, the brand. So we do reviews, and we also, promote their products of the audience we've got. But the main way that the brands help us is by partnering up with us and being on our jersey, because that's where the funding comes into it. So to actually have a discount on there, or to have a review on there, or to be linked with us, doesn't actually cost the brand anything. Mm-hmm. It is just the product as investment. So obviously they send the product, and that's their sort of payment to be included. But to get the most exposure is to become a partner, or to go on our jersey, and that's when the funding comes into it, and that's when it does help. Because ideally, I want this to be my main job, because I enjoy it that much. Mm-hmm. So we've had, I wouldn't say negative comments, but obviously the jersey has logos on it, and people don't like, it's advertising and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's a good thing we're doing, and it's helping fund us. So that's the reason behind it. Obviously, if I had a lot of money, I wouldn't need to do that, and I could do the jersey without logos. But obviously, that's not the case. So most of the community can see that, and they're happy with it. So it's just helps us, really.
Yeah, no, totally. And it helps spread the word and everything. And race jerseys are so popular. And did I read right? Was I reading right in saying that you're hoping to recycle your jersey by 2022 or something?
Not recycle it as such, but have them made by recycled bottles.
Oh, okay.
So it's just, again, another step to. It's just difficult trying to find the correct supplier, the correct price, because with our jerseys we try and keep them low cost. Mm-hmm. So people might pay higher, people might pay or want it cheaper, but I think it's fair. And also they get a jersey, they get freebies in it from the brands that are sponsored on the jersey, and also part of the money goes to charity as well. So I don't think, and that includes, the price also includes postage and packaging. So next year it might have a slight increase if it is recycled, the jersey. But still, I think if it was to go to sort of between £30 and £35, with some of the money going to charity, that includes postage and packaging, and with also it being recycled, I don't think that's too bad.
No, that's very reasonable to be. Most jerseys are like 35, 40 quid anyway.
Yeah, so obviously that's another thing for why we get brands involved, because the brands, obviously, with the payments that come through for the sponsors and the partners, that helps me with my income, and helps me do TotalMTB, so I can keep the cost fairly low for the people, for the mm-hmm. community, because I don't need to have the price high to get my money back, to have a mm-hmm. salary. Mm-hmm. So that's how I can keep it that low as well. So it works for both, really.
Yeah, very cool. And people can just go on your website, and you've got discount codes and stuff there that they can use for the individual brands.
They can go on the website, click the link in our social media, and we've got a link tree. So it's all the main links are there. So everything's pretty much on the website anyway. We've also got a new feature, also click to copy on the discount code. So instead of having to type in or copy at the bottom the discount code, you can click the code underneath click the link underneath the code, underneath the logo of the company, and mm-hmm. it copies it to either your laptop, your computer, iPad or phone, and then you can paste it straight into the website.
Wow, Very easy for people to spend money.
Yeah, unfortunately or fortunately.
Cool, man. So before I let you go, Ryan, like, what's the future for Total MTB? Have you anything new planned for the near future you can tell us about?
We've not necessarily got anything planned, but it's just trying to get more awareness out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, media is helping a lot. Obviously, doing podcasts now is helping a lot. Trying to get our name out there. We've had it in a local paper. We've had it in a national magazine with MB UK, which has been great. But if we can do a bit more, obviously that's great. But I don't like to put any sort of goals, timeframes on something. I just like to keep working hard at it, and hopefully things just come off the back of it, really. So just keep spreading awareness, really.
Yeah, for sure. And you were saying that, you know, the kind of end goal for Total MTB was maybe not for Total MBT, but for you personally, you were wanting to make this your full-time kind of employment.
Yeah, because I get such a buzz off of helping people.
Yeah.
With people sending me messages about we've helped them with their anxiety or open up to their family. We're doing something called Total Dream at the minute, where we find out what someone wants and get them a surprise. So a little girl from Team Cost Pair, I think it's pronounced, she loved Tracy Mosley. So we got her a signed jersey from her, and she didn't know about it.
Wow.
And it just that they videoed it and showed people. So stuff like that, it just makes you just get a kick out of it. And if we can, we're starting up something else called Total Shout Out. So if we find people that have done something great for charity or a good deed, then we basically give them a shout out, tell people what they've done, just to spread happiness, awareness, and try and raise spirits that after the crap time people have had, really.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's difficult, definitely. So, like, Ryan, how can people learn more, reach out, get involved, and get in touch with yourself or Total MTB? Where's the best place to go?
Basically, social media, really, to find all the updates. We're constantly updating our Twitter, our Facebook, and our Instagram. It's TotalMTB, our account names. And also, if you wanted to find out a bit more in detail, then totalmtb.co.uk is the website. And obviously, that's where people go for the discounts, which are very popular.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, man. Yeah, people love a bargain. Yeah, good. Well, Ryan, listen, thanks so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and I hope your season goes well and everything, you know, goes well for you there. It's an absolute bless what you're doing. Like, you know, it's amazing what you're doing. You spend so much time on it, and, you know, you just do it out of the love of the thing and the love of helping people. So it really is amazing, dude. And I hope it grows and grows and grows, and you get to go full time at it, because it would be amazing to have something like that based in the UK full time. I think it would really lead the way for other countries to be doing something similar, you know. So good luck, pal. Good luck.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me on and inviting me on and letting me talk about it. So, yeah, you've got a great platform. So keep doing your work and helping others spread their awareness.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
That's a wrap for episode 196. I hope you enjoyed that, folks. And Ryan, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure to get you on the podcast, mate. And what you're doing there is so amazing. And I know it helps people. I know a couple of people in my own life that certain things like this help. You know, may it be mountain biking, surfing, whatever it is. But it's amazing what you and the guys are doing there. I really do appreciate it, as so many people do. And so thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story on the podcast. And I hope your year goes so well, and you get to do everything you want to do with Total MTB, because I know it's growing into a much larger thing, helping more and more people every year. So well done, sir. Well done. Now, folks, if you enjoyed the podcast, you want to know a little bit more, just simply go to the show notes, mtb-tribe.com, search for Ryan's episode 196, and you'll get a little more info there on what we chatted about, and you'll get quick and easy links to all of Ryan's socials and Facebook and website. All that kind of stuff is on there for you to access. Now, if you're enjoying the podcast and you want to show your support, the best way is simply by subscribing, rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast platform you listen to your shows on. Your reviews help more people find the show and hopefully help more people get on the saddle and get on the trails. Now, we also have a website you can check out, mtb-tribe.com, where you can find the complete back catalogue, listen and download every show from there for free. You can also subscribe there and get one email per week with a quick and easy link to listen to the podcast. If you want to get in contact with the show, you'll find us on social media at MTB Tribe on Instagram and Facebook, and you can simply PM me there, or if you prefer email, you'll find me at info@mtb-tribe.com. Well, that's it for this week, folks. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I'll be back next week with another exciting episode, but until that time, as always, get the bikes out, hit the trails, and stay MTB stoked.